All right, let's talk about one of the biggest hurdles in learning Spanish, the verbs. We're going to crack the code on them today, and I promise we're going to turn all that stress into a really simple system that you can actually use.
You know that feeling, right? You look at a Spanish conjugation table with all those boxes and all those different endings, and your head just starts to spin. It's totally normal. But trust me, there is a much, much simpler way to look at this.
Because here's the big secret. Learning Spanish verbs isn't about brute force memorizing hundreds of different words. Nope. It's about seeing a simple, kind of beautiful pattern. Once you see the system behind it all, everything just clicks.
Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to start with what I like to call the golden rule of regular verbs. This is the foundation, the bedrock that pretty much everything else is built on.
So basically, almost every single regular verb in Spanish belongs to one of three families. And you can tell which family just by looking at the last two letters. You've got your AR verbs, your ER verbs, and your IR verbs. Each family has its own set of rules, but the key is, those rules are super consistent.
To get a handle on these families, we only need three model verbs to be our guides. We've got hablar, to speak, for the AR family, comer, to eat, for the ERs, and vivir, to live, for the IRs. Seriously, if you can master these three, you've basically mastered thousands of other verbs.
And the process for conjugating is always the same simple formula. Step 1, you spot the verb's family. Is it AR, ER, or IR? Step 2, you chop off that ending. And step 3, you stick on the new ending that matches who's doing the action and when. That's it. So let's see how this all works in practice with our first set of patterns, the present tense. You know, for things happening right now or stuff you do all the time. This is really the foundation of everyday Spanish conversation.
Check this out. You can really see the pattern come alive here. For an AR verb like hablar, you get endings like o, as, a. And for the ER and IR verbs, it's a really similar pattern, but it uses an E or an I, like o, s, e. And notice that I form, the yo form, it's always o, always.
And hey, here's your first little shortcut. For the I form, the yo form, of any regular verb in the present tense, all you do is drop the final R from the original verb. Hablar becomes hablo, comer becomes como, vivir becomes vivo. It's that easy.
All right, you're doing great. Let's tackle the past. Now, Spanish has two main ways to talk about the past, the preterite and the imperfect. I know that sounds a little complicated, but the difference is actually really natural once you get the main idea.
And this is the best way to think about it. The preterite is like taking a snapshot. It's for a single, completed action in the past. Boom, I ate the apple. It's over. But the imperfect, that's like a background video. It describes actions that were ongoing or it sets the scene. I was eating while the sun was setting. See the difference? So for those snapshot actions, we use these preterite endings. You can see the pattern for AR verbs here. It has these distinct sounds, like A and O. And here's a fantastic shortcut for you. Look at the ER and IR verbs. They share the exact same set of endings in the preterite. That literally cuts your work in half.
Okay, now for our background video, tense, the imperfect. And you're going to love this because it is so incredibly simple. All your AR verbs use this aba ending system, like hablaba. And your ER and IR verbs, they both share the AES system, like comía and vivía. It's super regular and so easy to spot.
Phew, okay. After all that, I think you've earned a reward. Let's move on to the future and conditional tenses, because these are, by far, the easiest patterns to learn. I call them the easy wins.
So remember our three-step process? Well, for these tenses, you can forget step 2. There's no chopping. You just take the entire original verb, hablar, comer, vivir, and you just tack the new ending right onto the end of it. It's a total game changer. I mean, just look at this. It's the same set of endings for all three verb families. Hablaré, comeré, viviré. You just add the ending to the whole word. It honestly does not get any simpler than this.
And the conditional tense, which is for saying you would do something, it works the exact same way. You take the full verb and you add the conditional ending, like ia, hablaría, comería, viviría. Same rule, different ending, but completely consistent.
Okay, so how do we take all these pieces and build them into real, confident speaking? Let's put it all together, and I'll share a couple of pro tips to really make it all stick.
Remember how I said that ER and IR verbs are mostly the same? Well, here's the one tiny but crucial exception. In the present tense, for the we and you all forms, the vowel in the ending matches the verb family. So for ER verbs, it's comemos and coméis. For IR verbs, it's vivimos and vivís. That's it. That's the main difference you gotta know.
So, what's your game plan from here? First, focus on the patterns, not just memorizing single verbs. Always start with the present tense. It's your foundation. When you learn a new verb, practice some of its brothers and sisters in the same family. And just be on the lookout for some common irregular verbs, like shoe verbs, which change a little in the middle but still use these same endings.
And here it is. This is your master key, your cheat sheet. This single chart gives you the core endings for the 3 most essential tenses in Spanish. This is your blueprint for building thousands of correct sentences.
Because what we've just done, this was never about just learning 3 verbs. By understanding these patterns, you have just unlocked the ability to correctly use over 9,000 regular Spanish verbs. I mean, think about that. This system is the key to all of them.
Which means now you can practice these patterns with any new verb that you find. The real power comes from taking this knowledge and actually applying it over and over again.
So I'll leave you with this question to get you started. Go find a new regular verb. Maybe trabajar, to work, aprender, to learn, or escribir, to write. And just try it. Apply the pattern. So, what verb will you conjugate first?